Welcome back to the fantasy
Oh my
football
God.
formula.
Oh my
Is
goodness. Epic failure. Oh, unbelievable.
If anyone else is getting
Oh my God.
welcome back to the fantasy football formula. This is our Super Bowl DraftKings NFL breakdown. Oh, all right, no more technical difficulties. We've had a bunch, but we're ready to rock finally. So yesterday we broke down our favorite bets and props for the Super Bowl, but now we're getting in to what I prefer. This is my favorite part of sports, fantasy sports is DFS. So we'll go ahead and give you our favorite plays. This is a large field, and we're going to specifically be talking about the $15, 400 and something thousand people, 1 million to first place tournament. So all of our plays are kind of geared towards that. Like you got to get different. Like if you're just playing, if you don't have any low owned guys in your lineup, like you're just, you have no chance at winning $1 million. You might be able to win 25,000, whatever, but you should just play a different contest. If you're playing this $15 one, play it to win, try to have a unique lineup. And that's what we're here to do. We'll go ahead and build 3 lineups at the end. Give us a little diversification of the portfolio at the captain. And I guess we'll start off. How do you guys want to break this down? Do you guys want to go through some of our favorite plays, overall plays, and then start building some lineups?
Yeah, I think we should start with a couple captains. And then from there we talk about flex plays. So and we'll talk about the low end plays.
I think that's plays. Really what we need to hone in on this show. Like before we build our lineups is first give our favorite low owned plays. Each of us share, okay, these are my 3 guys that I'm just going to be rotating through in my lineups that I'm, standing on this hill. I definitely have a few. Because obviously, you could say we could prefer, Corey, you probably prefer Hurts to Mahomes, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And then the rest of us, do you guys like Hurts more than Mahomes since we all like the Chiefs, or do you like Mahomes more? They're the same price, so.
Yeah. I feel like Hurts has a higher ceiling with his running.
For sure, yeah.
While I do like the Chiefs side, I think I do like Hurts better as a DFS play.
Nick?
I'm more of a Mahomes guy, and the thought behind it is really the touchdown appeal. While Hurts has the rushing touchdown, I think Patty Mahomes could easily have 3 or 4 passing TDs. I think Philly likes to run it in the red zone, so I kind of almost see it as a limited upside in the touchdown sense.
I definitely see the upside in Hurts. Like they just run the ball. He has the rushing upside there over Mahomes. But in a game, I think the Chiefs win. I'm on the Mahomes side, but you're not getting different at the quarterback position. Definitely, these guys are going to be like Hurts
probably in every line.
I mean, Hurts and Mahomes is going to be in almost every lineup for most people. So, yeah. So there's one spot already gone. Now you have 1, 2, 3. You have 5 spots left to get different. So, are you guys interested in any of the running backs?
They're pretty expensive for what they are. I don't really know if Miles Sanders is going to produce a couple touchdowns again.
He scored 2 and still only had 17 fantasy points.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't love it. I think Pacheco maybe, but I think I just like playing the receivers here.
Okay. Alex and Corey.
What do you think, Corey?
The running back situation, I mean,
it's a bit of a shit show.
It
just is.
If anything, I definitely lean more. Oh man, I would have to say that I'd probably like McKinnon more
Okay.
out of all of them. And that's strictly based off of what I kind of mentioned last week, which it didn't come to fruition, which was very odd that McKinnon wasn't involved that much in the
I
passing
guess
game.
he was banged up. That's kind of what it was.
Well, that would make sense if he wasn't touching the ball as much. But you think that he would have, even playing through an injury like that, and that's why Pacheco had more touches. Again, I feel like you have to utilize McKinnon, especially with this pass rush of the Eagles. You know, Mahomes still not going to be as healthy, not 100%. So we still don't know how he's going to be, how mobile he's going to be in the pocket. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say, he wasn't mobile at all, and they didn't do like any dump offs. So, and we already touched on that. Mahomes, they don't throw the ball deep like they were in the past. So a lot of their damage they're doing is underneath, and their playmakers are making the plays and running the ball. So,
okay.
I guess I lean McKinnon, and it's a slight lean. It's not a huge one.
Yeah,
I will say Pacheco had 5 receptions last game.
Yeah, he kind of took over for that. That's why it's kind of a shit show.
Mm-hmm. So if he was banged up, I think the check down was there, Corey. You're right. Yeah. Just wasn't the right guy.
But you have to think like, two weeks of rest. McKinnon could, right. You never, that's the hard thing about this is like both the Eagles and the Chiefs have these committee fields, like CEH might even be activated. It's really like, this is a position for me that I'm not going to really take a huge stand. I'm just going to mix and match. Like, I usually like having at least one running back in a lot of my lineups. It just, there's typically a rushing touchdown scored in an NFL game, and they're typically optimal when they do score. I just can't I'm not taking a stand at this position in particular this week. I just think the only stand I'm taking is I'm fading Gainwell and Boston Scott 100%. Like, I will not have a single lineup with either of those guys. I think they're terrible plays at their price.
See, now I don't mind Boston Scott.
So, he's leveraged. Like, I'm looking at it, it's looking like he's going to be like pretty low owned because no one's going to really want to pay $3K for Boston Scott. Like, you're going to get him at under 10% probably. So I see it from the leverage perspective, but I think he is just an atrocious play. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I could very easily see him getting like one carry.
And yeah,
he scored in the last 3 games.
That's what I mean. If he doesn't score that one carry, like, you're banking so much on that, I feel like.
Boston Scott and Gainwell get run when they're in the lead. Like, Miles Sanders is the guy early on in the game, and then they have these blowouts, and then Sanders or Gainwell and Scott get in there.
I think it's more Gainwell getting that carry. I think he's the third back there. I think it's Boston Scott who's the second back. I think Gainwell is just getting more. I don't know.
Gainwell at 5K is.
No, that's absurd.
I'm not touching him.
I'm not touching
people play him.
No, yeah.
This is where my first low owned leverage guy that so Boston Scott, I said, is like a terrible play because he's like 3K, and I think he legit gets like 1 or 2 fantasy points. But someone like Michael Burton is $200. He allows you, the $200 plays are actually way more optimal than people may think. Like, and it's not necessarily because they go crazy. Like, he could have 5 points and be optimal. It's because when you have 2 studs like Hurts and Mahomes, it allows you to get both of them. It allows you to get like 1 or 2 of AJ Brown and Kelsey. And if all those studs go off and no one else in the middle really goes off, then you might just need this $200 guy just to be in the lineup to get to the other one. So Michael Burton, my first leverage play, he'll be like under 1% owned.
He's touched the ball 3 times this entire year.
Correct. But in the Super Bowl, teams get creative. I could totally see Andy Reid doing something like using CEH as like a decoy, or like putting CEH in the game. So then they're like, oh, they're going to use him right here because they wouldn't put him in otherwise. And then just like handing it off to Michael Burton right on the 1 yard line. Boom. Vultures. Everyone's like, Michael Burton, who's this guy?
I was thinking the same thing, but different player, Melvin Gordon.
Dude, he's not even going to be active.
He's not going to be active.
Neither is Ron. I don't think Ronald Jones will be either. They're not going to have 4 running backs.
Neither of the old legends will be in there just for like the Super Bowl ring chance.
No.
I mean, they'll get a ring if they win.
They just won't.
Yeah, if they're up like 20, maybe.
Not likely.
I think my favorite would be Sanders, just because the Eagles lean on the run game so much more than the Chiefs do. And with such a shit show of a field, like we're all saying, like Sanders seems to be, in my opinion, the most secure choice, if you will.
Yeah, he definitely is.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
He's the safest running back pick, and they're all
But
pretty
I don't
much
love
the same
him.
price.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's running back. Now we're on to receiver. So who are your guys' favorite receivers at their price?
I mean, Travis Kelce.
Just straight wide.
Just
He's
wide
a
receivers.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
get to tight.
yeah.
I mean, you might as well lump them together.
That's what I was
Yeah, I
thinking,
guess, I mean,
since
you
they're all
could.
flex.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Travis Kelce is my favorite pass catcher on the board. He just is going to get so much volume. Like it's going to be early and often. If the Chiefs are going to win, he is going to get the ball at least 10 times. Like they're going to force feed him across the middle. The Eagles linebackers are not the strongest part of their defense. I think the guys on the outside are going to have a bit more trouble getting open, and Mahomes, I think, is going to definitely, maybe not consistently, but face some strong pass rushing. So he's going to have to dump it off to a guy. And that's, I mean, we've seen it, 14 receptions, 7 receptions, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. He's my favorite play for sure.
Okay.
Because on the Eagles side, Hurts can spread the ball around a little bit more. He's got more options.
He definitely does. And that option's AJ Brown, who's just insane at playing football. He has not been utilized a lot in the playoffs because they have not needed him.
He's also been like ailing a back too. Like I think on top of not needing him, they're like not wanting to risk it too.
Yeah. I mean, he has 40 yards in the playoffs on 7 catches. So, I mean, he's the type of guy who goes, I mean, he had 11 touchdowns this year. I mean, he can go for 200 yards in a game. We've seen him before this year. He's a playmaker. He's the number 1 option there. And I think he puts up big numbers against a secondary that has been playing well. But, I mean, AJ Brown's AJ Brown. So I know he's the most expensive and he's probably the easiest guy to say there. But for what he's going against, I think he's worth his price.
Yeah, I think AJ Brown's my favorite like receiver play. It's Travis Kelce's close, but AJ Brown has like 40 pounds, I think, on all the Kansas City cornerbacks. Like I don't see how he doesn't have a big game. Like, again, I think the Chiefs win. I think they're playing from ahead. I think Hurts is gonna have to pass the ball a ton. And I think AJ Brown's gonna be just peppered this game and have one of his massive games. Love him in the captain spot. And yeah, I definitely prefer him over Devonta Smith because they're like the same price. Devonta, and I feel like because of recent performance, Devonta might end up being just as owned or maybe a little bit more. I don't know if it gets to that far a little bit, but I think it's going to be too close in ownership where I just want to get more AJ Brown.
I'm playing the other side of that. My favorite receiver is actually Devonta Smith, and it's more so like both these guys in the Super Bowl for the first time. The Hurts Devonta Smith connection at Alabama that played together and won a national championship. I love the history of those two together, and you kind of see it all across the NFL when guys play together in college. They do really well. You got, Burrow and Chase. You got Trevor Lawrence and Etienne. These guys that are excelling together in college, you see it at the next level. So kind of playing off that narrative there. Devonta Smith's my favorite receiver. And also just from an upside perspective, while AJ Brown has the name, both of these guys have only put up over 20 points this year 4 times each. So pretty even boom sector for you from that perspective. So, you get a couple hundred extra bucks, and I like the history and successful connection and winning a national championship together for Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith.
Okay, so it sounds like, getting at least, or Alex, do you like between AJ Brown and Smith, who would you prefer?
We know who L'Jarius Sneed is going to be matched up against most.
I feel like he's just going to play aside, and then
I don't know.
Yeah,
whoever gets lined up against him.
I don't know if he shadows, but he's awesome.
Yeah, he's
very good. And AJ Brown does a 40 pounds.
I definitely lean AJ Brown. I think the Eagles are going to try and show why they went out and got him this offseason, and just kind of really, I mean, obviously he proved that all year. But I think that they're going to make it a priority in the same way that Kelsey will be to get force feed AJ Brown the ball, especially off of a couple of, again, low performing playoff games. He's still AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the Eagles receivers a little bit more than Kelsey. Like, he's the obvious number one threat. So I think it's a lot easier to game plan against Kelsey.
Jaguars, I mean,
you know what I mean? Whereas like the Eagles, you can't really do that, because it's like, if you want to isolate one, the other one's just going to burn you. So like, you kind of have to play it more evenly.
Look at what Kelsey's done in the playoffs.
No, I know. He's unstoppable. He makes the biggest plays at the perfect times. We've seen it for years. So
it sounds like we're all like, want to get, well, I mean, if we're talking pass catchers as well, for me, the only other two receivers I like are Juju and Tony. I think both of them are going to be active. And I think one of these receivers gets there. Like, I lean Juju just because Tony, his injury history, like that dude could literally be in for like 2 plays and then leave again. And I feel like people just aren't going to want to click on these guys, both Juju and Tony. They're not like, but when I say like, they're still going to be owned. This isn't like you play them and, that's my differentiator. No, you can pair someone like Juju with another low-owned piece that we'll talk about some of those guys in a little bit, like the really big leverage plays, like Burton. You pair Juju with Burton, that's, not very likely to be duped as much.
I just worry that we're chasing a Juju game the entire year. Like he
did have him though.
Did he? A few.
Yeah, he had like two. Games. He had like 2 back-to-back, I think, 100-yard games.
Yeah, like 6 and 7
points.
As of late, though, I think the problem with Juju is the volume's not there. He's kind of a ghost. He obviously has put on some weight and has limited his ability to gain separation. So even if he's coming out of the slot for a slant, he's just not.
He has the best matchup of the Eagles receiver or the Chiefs receivers.
Yeah, I actually think I like Tony. I think he could at least have an advantage of speed against some of these really good technical cornerbacks. I mean, the Eagles have like 3 or 4 cornerbacks who could debatably be number ones on different teams. So, like Bradbury, big play Slay, Maddox. These guys are really good technical. I think the only edge that they might get beat on is speed. So for that reason, I like Tony more than Juju.
Yeah, but he, like PB said,
it is a risk. He's definitely more high risk, but Juju hasn't done anything.
I almost like banking on Tony injury and pivoting to Sky Moore because of that. Just being like, they're going to fill him in with these gadget plays. But
I think it was like the first play of the game last week. Sky Moore ran like a end around or something. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
it's going to be the Sky Moore show, isn't it?
But then Sky goes and, all these receivers go down, and then he has 7 targets from Patrick Mahomes. And what does he do? 3 catches for 13 yards.
Yeah. He's catching the ball behind the line of scrimmage every time.
This dude is, you're banking on him making just a big play behind the line of scrimmage and something, or just one of these end arounds for a touchdown. I think his price, they priced him as if like Juju or Tony or both were going to be out, and they're probably both playing. So you're going to get some leverage on Sky Moore. I actually think, so we don't talk about FanDuel, but I think he's just a better play on FanDuel because he's like really cheap over there if you're gonna play him, but I don't know about on DraftKings.
Right. Well, what about the guy that we always talk about, Quez?
No,
I don't know. He plays a lot of snaps, but
Yeah, with Goddard back, he just is not
yeah.
involved.
volume's not there.
This is the game.
This is
Oh,
I don't want to
Oh.
do it. I'd rather play. I mean,
I don't even
But
think I think
he's
Quez will
turning
be
into
low
Robbie
owned.
Anderson light.
Yeah, I think Quez will be low owned, but I don't even think he's like him and like MVS. I think could be like the same ownership.
I mean, would you rather play Justin Watson or Quez Watkins?
I mean, straight up, probably Quez, but like I don't really like either of them.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's what you're looking for around that price. I mean, you're not
I mean,
I'm going to say this: Zach Pascal. He doesn't catch
Yes.
passes.
That's
He's
the dude. That's the guy that I prefer.
No.
Yeah.
Don't-
Zach Pascal?
You're no.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, so this is what I'm saying. Like, why am I gonna play Quez Watkins, who could, like, this could be like the guy that, because people are gonna want to play these studs, and look where the value is. Like, look under like 4K. Name some guys like that. No one's gonna want to play these guys. People aren't gonna want to play Sky Moore. People aren't gonna want to play the defenses in this spot. People are going to go down to Quez, I think, especially pairing him with Jalen Hurts. They're going to be like, oh, this is my sneaky play. I think he's going to be way higher owned than he should. And Zach Pascal could easily be the guy over Quez.
I would say he doesn't play. He barely
He
plays.
gets it where it matters, though, which is in the red zone. That's where he gets a few looks. And that's where you want them.
That's
They're
where
like
he
top
runs
value.
those like crosses for blocks across the side when they're splitting a tight end out or something.
Yeah.
I prefer him to Quez, but from a leverage spot, because Zach Pascal is going to be low owned.
Rightfully so.
Right. It is rightfully so, but like I don't think Quez should be close to 20.
Yeah. All right. So
I mean, he gets the deep ball. That's my only. That's
right.
If he gets 1 to 2 of those passes,
Yeah,
he has better opportunity to score more points off of that than a Zach Pascal 4-yard touchdown pass.
I will say
4 yards touchdown. That's it.
Like
just
I
like
could see the Eagles just first play trying to bomb, like trying to set the tone. One like literally very first play bomb.
Yeah.
just like Sky, I think Quez is actually better on FanDuel. Like if you go check, he's really cheap over there, and I don't know. And FanDuel, people really can jam in the studs because of the scoring structure. But Quez, like, I think it's just going to go too high owned.
Okay.
All right. There's for sure one guy that we have not called out that was called out yesterday on the low end. And that I think we should get into a lineup unless anyone else has some plays.
Oh, well, we didn't talk about tight end. These are where my 2 favorite leverage plays are.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What do you got?
So Noah Gray, but I actually think Noah Gray could be higher owned than I thought. It's kind of like with Quez. I think Quez and Noah Gray are like these cheapies people just squeeze into their lineups to get to the studs. But Jody Fortson at $200, my favorite play. I'm going to have an unhealthy amount of Jody Fortson. Like way too much Jody Fortson on DraftKings this week. Like he's my favorite leverage piece. He's going to be super low owned, and
he's the flag plant.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When you brought him up yesterday, it wasn't a name that has crossed my mind debatably ever to play, especially in a Super Bowl. So, for being honest, I wasn't really thinking about it, but the opportunity to just be cheering for Jody High Roller all of Sunday sounds kind of fun. So I'm mixing it in. So thank you, BB.
We get Jody Fortson. We're gonna be Jody High Roller after Sunday. Let me tell you. And last year it was my backup tight end was Bryson Hopkins, and he's what won me the milli on FanDuel. And this year it's gonna be Jody Fortson. And if we all win it, we're all getting Jody Fortson jerseys. If we play, if one of our lineup has Fortson and we win, and if I'm buying a Fortson jersey, if I somehow win it,
We're getting him on the show. Let's be
Hey,
real.
you were supposed to buy a Matthew Stafford jersey last year. Did you ever do that?
no, I never. When was I gonna buy Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you did. You said if he were to win me the $1 million tournament,
I said if he won me $1 million, I won the tournament. He didn't win me $1 million.
Oh,
all right.
stipulations.
Yeah.
All right, let's build some lineups.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's get into it.
Yep. So we'll go through the three we're gonna enter into this tournament. If you duplicate us, you're losing a ton of expected value, so don't do it.
You're a shithead as well. You're also a shithead. So,
Yeah.
okay. Which
so
one do we
we'll-
want to start with?
I think we should do one with each of the quarterbacks and get different with the leverage play, and then
Let's do Hurts first.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's start with the little Eagles. Fly,
well,
Eagles,
playing
fly.
Hurts, I say we didn't really talk about Goddard. I know Corey kind of likes
I
Goddard.
love Goddard.
Yeah. We did.
I really do love Goddard. Just to throw it out there, I like playing tight ends on Showdown slates. And again, this is the only. I mean, it's not like he's a sneaky player or anything like that. But again, people are going to want to be playing AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I think Goddard's a good spot against the Chiefs have okay linebackers, not anything spectacular. So
You can play them both, like AJ.
Oh,
Brown
yeah.
and Goddard.
no, you definitely can. It's just
I say
like
we
Goddard.
get one of Brown or Smith. I vote Brown.
I vote Brown as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
All right. Yeah, my opinion doesn't matter, I guess. So I'm picking the Chiefs line.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's okay. Do we want to get a running back in here?
I don't know. Throw Dallas in there for Corey. Let's
Just the Hurts to Brown and Goddard. We're gonna have to get real different in these last three spots, or at least one of them. So, we have 5,800.
Jody High Roller bring back.
I mean, yeah, we could always put Jody. We could put Jody High Roller in all three of these lineups.
I think we should.
I mean, we have to, like, we need to either. So
If we are we're all so confident
Listen.
on this, I think we just do it.
I didn't hear what were your guys' favorite like low owned piece that can win
Him.
$1 million solo?
Him.
Okay, so yours is Fortson, Corey.
I mean, basing it on what we saw last week, how he was used essentially as a slot receiver because everyone was hurt on the team. If that happens again, dude, he's gonna be getting a lot of target share, or he should get some of the target share.
Who?
So if you're banking on injuries, he's a great play. I mean, they basically said he's a wide receiver in a tight end body. So
Who?
Fortson.
yeah, Fortson.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're talking about, I thought you said
Fortson.
something else.
I mean,
Yeah, you like
Marcus
Fortson.
Kemp also got playing time last week, but
I'm
That
pretty
was
sure
what I
they
was
deactivated him. I
Yeah,
was
he
actually just going to say, if you're playing these 200 level guys, make sure that they're not like getting bumped down to the practice squad or made inactive, because they're guys that flip flop out all the time. There's probably 50% of these 200 plays are like not even active. So make sure you do your homework on this.
yeah, I mean, Marcus Kemp played 22 snaps last week. So
Yeah,
I mean,
once Juju and Tony went down, Kemp got in there.
Yeah.
But
What about
that was-
Jack Stoll?
See, Stoll is another, like, the reason why is like I'd rather just get more combinations with what I think is the better quarterback, way more likely to use their tight ends, and like Fortson, come on, Jack Stoll or Jody Fortson.
You could do like Mahomes and Stoll.
Well, you'd want to do Jalen Hurts with Stoll and Mahomes with Fortson.
Okay,
No, but
so
I'm saying for these last two plays, that's what you could do. Leave a bunch of money and be really different.
that'd be
That you don't. I mean, I've seen
That
two
could win
200
the millie, the solo millie.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
show you what happens. Like, for example, put a $200 play, like put Michael Burton in here. And I've actually seen lineups where two $200 plays are in the optimal. Cause like, okay.
That's
too
what
much.
I was saying.
No, that's too much.
But
money.
with
Never mind.
Stoll,
you would in this lineup, you would play like Kelsey over Goddard. So it'd be like Fortson, Burton, Kelsey, AJ Brown, Hurts. or
okay.
something.
Well, hang on. I mean, that was
Well, yeah.
that was-
I was just showing. Let's submit this, and then I'll show you what the
Okay.
two $200 play looks
then
like.
do Do Mahomes to Juju.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm pretty sure I have this exact lineup already in the Millie Maker.
There's definitely
Well, I'm duplicating with myself. I'll have a lineup by myself, and then we'll split the other 500K.
I mean,
But
Yeah.
I 1000%
Oh,
already have that
I
lineup.
just submitted that twice. I gotta change that.
You can just go to lineup, yeah, and then edit entries on the. Oh, that might edit for both of them. If you go to the top right, I think you can select.
Go to entries on the bottom there.
It says like edit entries, or where did it go?
Just edit.
Well, there was a edit entries.
says
thing
number of no. So click down the drop down. And it says number of entries. No, go back to that.
right there. Edit entries on the top right.
Yep. Oh, it just dropped it down.
On the there, yeah.
No.
You might
Right.
have to do it manually.
We're
on your
just
phone.
gonna that's okay. I'll change
We'll just
that
do
one.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we can do 3 still. I'll change one of those 2 as a personal one.
Okay, so let's do Mahomes now.
All right, I want Mahomes, Kelsey, and I want Tony.
Yeah, I like get a Tony and a Juju lineup in here. Okay, so what Eagle do we want?
Devonta Smith.
We go Jalen Devonta. What does that leave us? Nope. Can't do that.
Yeah, you can
this
do
one.
that.
This one, I think we can only get one of AJ Brown, Smith, or Hurts. I'd prefer Hurts or AJ Brown. What do
But
you?
no, I mean, we could do. Let's get Nick's Devonta Smith call in here.
Yeah. Okay, so then basically 10K left.
We could probably fit a running back and then a low own because we need a leverage piece in this lineup still.
I mean, I don't mind the Sanders call, like Nick or without.
Yeah,
Alex.
I mean, if we're fading Hurts, we may as well get Sanders in here.
And just say he runs the 2 touchdowns.
So now we have 2,100. So this is an example of what I mean. Like, I think a lot of people are going to be playing Quez and Noah Gray, and even like I think that little range is going to go overowned, and then Zach Pascal. I mean Blake Bell's, but I mean Fortson's just the receiving guy. Blake Bell just blocks.
What about Greg Ward? He used to play.
No, he does not play.
More.
I would just
I
play
haven't
Zach
seen him
Pascal.
like in a year, but
We should probably play a Chief with Mahomes captain though.
yeah.
All right, put him in. Put
Jody.
Put the Forster in there.
I have this lineup as well. In the Millie. I have 30. I think I have 36 lineups, and almost all of them have Fortson.
Do you have 36 lineups in the Millie Maker?
Yeah,
You are out of your mind.
and almost all of them have Fortson.
That's awesome.
Like I'm just going big on this guy.
Okay, so now for like a non-QB captain lineup, where do we want to go?
I say Juju or AJ Brown.
I'd say Juju, AJ Brown, or Goddard, but
I don't want to do Goddard.
I like Goddard better than Juju.
Then let's do AJ Brown if you don't like Juju.
Yeah, I don't love AJ Brown as a captain. Like at that point, you just go for quarterback or Kelsey.
What do you mean you can't? There's a difference of 3,000 between Hurts and Brown.
I know.
all right, let's pivot. Let's do AJ Brown because 3 of us
Alex,
like.
do you like Brown as captain?
Yeah, I do.
So probably get Hurts in here.
Yeah.
Maybe this one
Kelsey.
Maybe this one we get a Chiefs running back because we don't have a Chiefs running back.
Or if we do Kelsey and McKinnon, or let's do Kelsey
and Pacheco.
Yeah,
I think is a better correlation.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be able to get Mahomes.
Yeah, I like the Kelsey Pacheco, and then maybe this one we probably should get.
Do we want to? A guy we didn't talk about? MBS.
I don't like. I'm not playing a single lineup with that dude.
No,
not one.
not at all.
Like they priced him up because they thought Juju and Tony might sit, and he's coming off of his best game of the year, and he has the worst match of all receivers. He'll probably be matched up with Darius Slay the most. They don't give up, like they play zone. They don't give up like these deep balls. I think he's just. I hope like, people chase him.
All right, fair enough.
We didn't talk about kickers. Are we interested in any of the kickers?
Nah,
Not
maybe a
particularly.
little bit.
No, I
Not a
think
whole
there's
lot.
going to be very little kicking in this
If
game.
anything, I actually prefer the Chiefs' defense over the kickers.
Yeah, well, we're not playing the Chiefs defense here, so
Yeah, I don't like that call, PB.
I like the Chiefs defense, but
I'd rather take Jake Elliott.
Do we want to go for your Boston Scott call, Corey?
oh please no.
I like it. It's different.
But I don't know if you want 2 running backs in here.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that. Different teams.
I say we get a low owned, so like Hurts to throwing to AJ Brown, and then
I mean the only other receiving option down there is Quez, and you
Quez,
already said you don't like
Zach Pascal.
Well, yeah, but what if you did Goddard and Jody?
Well,
You can't.
You can't.
Oh,
think
can you?
that. Or what's Goddard's price?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
you can. But I mean,
Do it.
I don't. But what does a
Too late. It's gone.
no? Those are our 3. Like I'm fine with that. Like we have Jody. Like I love Jody. But I'm trying to think because we can now kind of build just a few lineups because Corey and I have done this on other shows where like let's say like okay, this is what you should do if you're building a Pacheco cap, like just running through just some simulation.
Not entering anything in.
And I mean, you could enter it in like the 50-cent tournament or something, but just building through lineups. So like we didn't do a Kelsey captain, but we could just like run through what like a good tournament lineup would look like. So like Mahomes, Kelsey. I mean, you might be able to fit Hurts in here, but probably not. You probably want another pass catcher from Chiefs, whether it's Juju or Tony or Fortson. Now, see, this lineup is where it's like I don't think you go Fortson because then it's too many pass catchers.
Yeah, you're stuffing it. So like this here, I go Hurts
like Sanders.
No, I go Goddard and Sanders, something like that.
Yeah, Goddard, Sanders, and then one of those cheap guys like Noah Gray. I mean, Quez would be okay in this lineup because you leave like 2,000, but it's still probably going to be duplicated. But yeah, the lower amount of money you leave and the more off the wall you're going to get, way less duplications. Like put Michael Burton in that lineup. You're not going to have many dupes.
No, you're not. But
dude,
again, play at your own risk with Michael Burton.
Yeah,
touched the ball 3 times this year.
We did an AJ Brown. Devonta Smith line would look almost identical to like how we built it. It would just
replace the name. So it's
Hurts. We had Kelsey and Pacheco and Fortson and Goddard, I think.
Yeah.
So like it would, and then
something
you
like that.
What you would do, you build a shell like your core, like you say your core is Devonta Smith, Kelsey, Goddard, Jalen Hurts, and then you rotate out those leverage guys. So like you swap Fortson for Burton for Stoll for, and that's how you just build like a core lineup and then just get different with the leverage piece. Because every lineup has to have a leverage piece or you're not doing it right.
And then I think the last one that we probably touch on really quickly is probably a running back for the Chiefs, like a Pacheco line. Like Pacheco,
Jalen Hurts.
I'd do Jalen Hurts. I'd fade Mahomes in this.
I agree with that.
So go Kelsey.
Yep.
And then grab like AJ Brown
or Smith.
And then
again, this one makes sense with maybe like Butker. Because you're saying Mahomes doesn't get there, Pacheco's getting rushing touchdowns, Kelsey's getting the volume, but then they also stall out and Butker racks it up, and that's how Mahomes fails.
Yeah, and then you grab. See, this is where people were saying that Quez Watkins could be popular because it's another piece to add on to Jalen Hurts as, passing options. So you get crazy and
Zach Pascal.
But yeah, so you just see what you can.
And the guys are, you can play like a Quez Watkins in that line. Like the more salary you leave, you can stick with like playing like a low owned guy, but that's not like crazy low owned because you left a bunch of salary. So that alone will get you different.
Yeah.
Now here's an example of like people. There's like the defensive scoring, like defensive game people try to do. So like people will do this thing where they put both kickers and both defenses in the lineup. Put like, do you have it on the screen?
Yeah.
Like put both kickers and both defenses. And then people play like both quarterbacks or something. Like people like do these things like, oh, I'm getting way different. Like if you do, even if you leave 7,000, I bet you that lineup is duplicated way more than some of those lineups that we built that leave like 1,000 because it's just like a weird build that people think is different and it's just not. It's just I don't know why it just happens.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
or
you have 400,000 people, you gotta get a little bit different, but don't outplay yourself.
Or do like people like Quez Watkins captain. This one I think is gonna be like people like, oh, I'm getting different by playing Quez if he catches a long one, and then play, Jalen Hurts, you can fit like Mahomes. I mean, you can fit like, and who's 58 or Juju. If you do that, you think you're different because you played a Quez Watkins captain, but all the people that play Quez Watkins captain are going to have a lineup just like that. And so you're going to be duplicated pretty heavily.
You can do that, but you have to play
something else weird in the lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, all this comes down to having a low owned piece, having combinations of players that are low owned, and that's how you can take these down, hopefully solo.
Yeah. Well, hey,
like
I'll
we're
say
going
this.
to.
Yeah, like we, I think we had a pretty successful year in DFS. I think it was.
Oh yeah.
I think
we
we
won
probably
some tournaments. Yeah.
I mean, collectively, I think we probably won close to what 25,000-30,000.
At least,
yeah. You combine it all through the whole year.
Yeah, I was just saying all of us combined throughout the entire year. So, I mean,
we were putting down like 2,500 a week across the group for a while.
There was a solid few weeks here where we were crushing it and then kind of hit a cold streak and then picked it back up again. So, hey, finish the year strong. Let's all win like $1 million.
Yeah.
PB and I never won our free Super Bowl ticket entry tournaments though.
What?
The Super Bowl tickets or whatever.
What are you talking about?
The tournaments that had the entries for like the Super Bowl passes.
Oh
play, yeah, to play in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the exclusive tournament.
You get like the VIP tournament or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we'll do like a heartbreak episode where we just go through and we talk about all the
baddest beats
of DFS this year.
We had some bad ones.
There was quite a few in there that cost us additional, I don't know,
hundreds of thousands.
Well, yeah, there was
a lot.
And the showdowns are usually the ones that you feel like you have it, and it's just you literally cannot. You just have to sit there until the whistle's blowing, and then you still have to wait for stat corrections because Showdown it's like 0.05 just can shift thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars with off a stat correction. So, I mean, you have to hold your breath till even after the game ends to see if you actually won. But it'll be a fun one. And we'll be back. We'll see who wins the Super Bowl, and we'll be back to kind of review the season and we'll have some stuff for the draft. So thank you for watching. It's been a great year, and we'll see you next time.